And then you're like, hey, let's go up on the potty. Once they get to a certain age, you're like, hey, let's go up on the potty. And she's like, I swear to God, this is how you do it, Travis. You'll find out. You see them, and then they also start getting old enough that they get a little bit like.
Justin Lee Fischer had seen it all. At least, that's what he told himself. After nearly a decade in law enforcement in Fort Scott, Kansas, and a recent stint as a private investigator, Fischer was no stranger to tense confrontations or late-night calls. Still, nothing in his checkered resume could have prepared him for the bizarre chain of events that would put him at the center of one of the most sensational legal dramas to ever bridge the worlds of Hollywood, the NFL, and the music industry. It started quietly in the pre-dawn hours of September 15th, in the kind of neighborhood where privacy is bought by the acre and guarded by more than just iron gates. Leawood, Kansas, home to rolling lawns, hush-money security, and on this particular night, NFL superstar Travis Kelce. Fischer, 48, pulled up to Kelce's property with singular mission: serve deposition papers connected to a high-profile lawsuit involving actress Blake Lively, director Justin Baldoni, and, by a strange twist, Taylor Swift. How did a former small-town cop end up trying to serve the world's biggest pop star at the home of football royalty? The answer is a labyrinth of personal failures, celebrity feuds, and legal maneuvering that few could have imagined. And it starts, as so many modern tales do, with a single incendiary accusation. In December 2024, Hollywood was rocked by allegations from Blake Lively against her. It ends with us co-star and director Justin Baldoni. Lively accused Baldoni of sexual harassment during filming, alleging that he not only created a hostile environment, but orchestrated a campaign to smear her reputation in the public eye. The press devoured every detail. Social media erupted with speculation and support, and the usually unflappable Baldoni responded with a countersuit, naming not just Lively, but also her husband, Ryan Reynolds, and their publicist, accusing them of defamation and extortion. The countersuit was as dramatic as any blockbuster, with Baldoni's team suggesting a coordinated effort to end his career. After months of depositions, public statements, and legal fireworks, the countersuit fizzled out, dismissed by the court in June. But the damage to reputations lingered, and the original harassment lawsuit pressed on. Stuck in the middle was a curious legal footnote, a request to depose Taylor Swift as a witness. Why Swift? The answer is as much about the culture of celebrity as it is about the law. Swift, who had become romantically linked to Kelce, was reportedly present at several industry events where Lively and Baldoni's dispute simmered just below the surface. Lawyers, hungry for leverage, believed Swift could provide insight, or at least headlines. The judge disagreed, denying the request just days before Fischer's ill-fated visit to Kelce's home. Undeterred by the judge's ruling, Fischer pressed on. Maybe he hadn't gotten the memo. Maybe he was acting on old instructions. Or maybe, sensing the chaos swirling around the case, he saw an opportunity to make his mark, or at least his fee. Whatever the reason, he found himself scaling a fence at 2 o'clock in the morning, clutching papers addressed to Taylor Swift, hoping she might be found at the home of her NFL boyfriend. Security at Kelce's home was both high-tech and highly motivated. The head of executive protection for a major Nashville-based firm spotted Fischer almost immediately. Within minutes, local police were on the scene. Fischer, a man who once wore the badge himself, found the tables had turned. He was arrested for criminal trespassing, his actions triggering not just alarms but a cascade of speculation and headlines. The official police report was a study in minimalism, barely a page, with strict limits on how the information could be shared. It was as if everyone involved understood that this was no ordinary trespass. This was the kind of story that would ripple out, touching celebrities, fans, and legal eagles alike. Fischer's own background added fuel to the fire. He had joined the Fort Scott police force in 2013, rising to full-time status before a domestic incident in 2023 resulted in his law enforcement license being revoked for 5 years, a fact recorded in the dry language of the Kansas Commission on Peace Officer Standards and Training. By then, Fischer had already begun working as a private investigator, a profession that thrives in the shadows. Despite holding a valid investigator's license from the Kansas Attorney General, Fischer operated without a website, no business name, and little public presence. He was, in every sense, the invisible man, until that moment at Kelce's fence. Asked by reporters about the incident, Fischer was careful, responding only by text. He'd be happy to talk once the case was resolved. He insisted he hadn't been injured, but beyond that, he offered nothing. For a man whose job is to uncover secrets, he was suddenly at the center of one. Why Kelce's home? Why risk arrest for a deposition that had already been denied? The answer lies in the strange logic of celebrity service. Fischer may have assumed, not unreasonably, that Swift would be spending the night with Kelce, a fact broadcast to millions by tabloids and Instagram feeds. But what played out that night was not a routine service. It was a collision between celebrity privacy and the relentless machinery of the law. Kelce's security, primed by months of media scrutiny and the intense public interest in his relationship with Swift, acted decisively. Fischer was removed from the property and handed over to police. For Kelce, it was just another bizarre episode in a season already defined by the blurring of sports, music, and tabloid culture. For Swift, it was another reminder of how closely her personal life was monitored and how even those on the periphery of her world could find themselves in legal jeopardy. With Fischer facing criminal charges and the possibility of losing his private investigator's license, the story became more than just a footnote in Hollywood's ongoing battle of reputations. It was a testament to the unpredictable consequences of fame and the dangers of getting too close to the sun. Legal experts debated whether Fischer's actions were reckless or simply the desperate move of a man trying to do his job under impossible circumstances. Meanwhile, the original lawsuit between Lively and Baldoni continued to cast a long shadow. The denied deposition, the late-night arrest, and the presence of so many A-listers kept the media and the public thirsty for more. Would Fischer turn on his former clients? Would new revelations come to light? What would happen when Fischer faced a judge on October 15th? The Fischer incident became more than just a celebrity sideshow. It was a flashpoint for debates about privacy, security, and the reach of the law into the rarefied world of the ultra-famous. It raised questions about the ethics of legal tactics and the limits of professional conduct. And it left everyone, from Hollywood insiders to football fans to Swifties, wondering how much stranger things might get. Every detail, from the timing of Fischer's arrival to the secrecy of the police report, served to deepen the sense of intrigue. The media, sensing a once-in-a-generation story, dug for more, but with so many records sealed and key players silent, speculation only grew. As the October 15 court date approached, Fischer's fate hung in the balance. Would he lose his license? Would he face jail time? Would the entire episode be quietly swept under the rug? Or would it become another chapter in the never-ending saga of celebrity scandal? For Justin Lee Fischer, the night he scaled Travis Kelce's fence may well define the rest of his career. For Taylor Swift, it was another reminder that in the glare of the spotlight, even the most routine legal matter can spiral into chaos. For everyone watching, it was proof that in the world of modern celebrity, nothing is ever truly private, and the line between the ordinary and the extraordinary can vanish in a heartbeat. The drama isn't over. With so many reputations on the line and so much still unknown, the world continues to watch, waiting for the next twist. Will Fischer speak out? Will more secrets emerge from those sealed court files? Or will the story, like so many Hollywood scandals, fade away until the next late-night knock at the door? One thing is certain. In the collision of fame, law, and secrecy, no one is ever truly safe. And as the public waits for answers, one can't help but wonder what really happened that night in Leawood, Kansas, and what secrets are still waiting to be served.